Business cycle explained once and forever. Part 4. Why the business cycle matters and remember forever. Why is the business cycle important? Now you might be wondering, why do economists, governments and businesses study the business cycle so carefully? Because understanding the business cycle helps them make better decisions. Imagine you're planning to open a new factory. If the economy is entering an expansion, demand is likely to increase. That may be the right time to invest, hire more workers, and expand production. But if the economy is moving towards a contraction, demand may weaken. Expanding aggressively during that period could increase losses. Governments also monitor the business cycle before making economic policies. During a recession, they may increase public spending or reduce taxes to support demand and create jobs. During periods of rapid growth and high inflation, they may reduce spending or increase taxes to prevent the economy from overheating. Central banks, such as the Reserve Bank of India (RBI), also watch the business cycle closely. When economic activity slows sharply, when inflation becomes too high during a boom, they may increase interest rates to slow excessive demand. In other words, understanding the business cycle helps governments, businesses, banks, and investors make better economic decisions. Now let's connect everything you've learned. Many students memorize 4 phases: expansion, peak, contraction, trough, but those phases are only the result. The real business cycle begins much earlier. It begins when millions of households decide how much to spend. Businesses decide how much to produce and invest. Banks decide how much to lend. Governments introduce economic policies. These decisions change aggregate demand. Aggregate demand changes production. Production changes employment. Employment changes household income. Higher income increases spending. That spending changes aggregate demand once again. This continuous feedback creates the business cycle. Notice something remarkable. The business cycle doesn't happen by itself. It is created by millions of everyday economic decisions interacting with one another. Once you understand this chain, the 4 phases become a natural consequence, not something to memorize. Quick comparison. Phase: what happens? Expansion, demand, production, employment, income and investment increase. Peak: economic activity reaches its highest level and inflationary pressures rise. Contraction: demand, production, employment and income decline. Trough: the economy reaches its lowest point before recovery begins. Remember it forever. Don't remember 4 phases. Remember one chain: higher aggregate demand, higher production, higher employment, higher household income, higher spending, higher aggregate demand. This creates expansion. Now reverse the process. Lower aggregate demand, lower production, lower employment, lower household income, lower spending, lower aggregate demand. This creates contraction. As this process repeats over time, the economy naturally moves through expansion, peak, contraction, trough, expansion. That repeating pattern is called the business cycle. Final takeaway: whenever you hear the words business cycle, don't imagine a graph first. Imagine millions of people making economic decisions every day. Those decisions determine demand. Demand determines production. Production determines employment. Employment determines income. Income determines spending. And spending changes demand again. That continuous chain is the real business cycle. Once you understand this single idea, you won't just remember the business cycle, you'll understand why it happens, allowing you to answer questions in school, college, UPSC, and other competitive exams through reasoning instead of memorization.